We've been hearing about this chemical weapons attack, and those of us paying attention have seen the images over the past few days. An alleged attack by the Syrian regime. The Syrian government denies responsibility for this chemical weapons attack. Various media sources are saying hundreds of people were killed in this poisonous gas attack which took place in the suburbs of Damascus. So, a team of UN weapons experts go in to inspect the site of the attack, the Syrian government having given the inspectors permission to visit the site. But the inspectors came under attack from sniper fire. However, they continued to do their work in spite of this incident. The Syrian regime are blaming rebel forces for the attack on the UN team. Now, I've heard what Foreign Secretary William Hague has said, and I've heard what US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has had to say. Clearly, Hagel thinks the Syrian government are responsible for the chemical attack. Military intervention is on the table as an option. That much is obvious. What has the Foreign Minister of Syria had to say? Quote, "We are all hearing the drums of war around us. If they want to launch a war in Syria, I think the pretext of chemical weapons is frail and fragile. It is a false pretext. I totally deny that we used chemical weapons, and those who claim to be on position of evidence, I challenge them to lay it out before the eyes of public opinion." He went on to say, "If a military strike is launched, it will be only to serve Israel's interests and no doubt benefit the military operations of Al-Qaeda affiliated Al-Nusra Front inside Syria." And Syria's foreign minister seems to think a military strike against Syria won't affect their military operations at all. Sounds like tough guy talk to me. There's a picture of President Assad hanging above the foreign minister's head while he's making his little speech. Assad has allies, of course, Russia for one, and Iran. Some would say Syria and Iran make for strange allies, strange bedfellows, but they are allies. The politics and sectarian issues in the Middle East are by no means understood by everyone. You have to have studied the history of the region in some depth. You know, different groups are looking to achieve different goals. Motives differ, yeah. Okay, the Russian Foreign Ministry said this, quote, "Attempts to bypass the Security Council, once again to create artificial, groundless excuses for a military intervention in the region, are fraught with new suffering in Syria, and catastrophic consequences for other countries of the Middle East and North Africa." End quote. A world divided over what to do about a country that is still at war with itself, has been for a couple of years. Sad situation. Over to the audience then. Considering what's been said over the past few days, considering what's gone on recently, what will happen next? It's impossible to know for sure, of course, how this will unfold, but it's looking increasingly likely that we're going to see military intervention of some kind in Syria. To what extent, we don't know. What would happen if, say, the United States launched a multi-stage strike plan that leads to the fall of Assad and his regime, but the US has no real control over who or what fills the power vacuum? What would then become of Syria, I ask? It's a bloody mess now. Could it get worse? And what about the wider region? Would we see those catastrophic consequences, as the Russian ministry put it, come to pass in the event of US-led military intervention? What could bring a country like Syria to peace and democracy? How could this land be turned from the mess it is now into a land of freedom where the rule of law prevails? Is that even possible now? What do you think? Comments below, please, and I'll see you later, folks.